Okay, wonderful afternoon. It's a great honor for me to be here today, and I want to be here because I want to inspire you. I'm definitely sure that my topic is totally different to all of yours, because we will talk about health and sustainability. And I think especially if you think about your business, especially your business communication, you will never have thought about this. So when we talk about sustainability, we often talk about topics like e-mobility, reducing waste, or different sources of power. These are all extremely important issues that we need to consider in a sustainable transformation. And I think it's really good that we have events like today where we see different industries. Yeah? But what always worries me is the fact that the connection between climate change and human health is never discussed at the political level. And as you will hear from me later, we have diseases, we have courses of diseases that can be traced back to climate change. So my presentation will be interesting for all of you. Either you will realize that the health sector in Germany is a bigger economic factor than the car industry, or you will put it into your communication strategy for the future. If it's about every individual human health, sustainability should be interesting for everyone. And this is what I want to explain to you. Now, I briefly introduce myself and clarify how I got into the sustainability track and why I remain committed to the issue of sustainability. I will explain what climate change has to do with diseases and what role the German health system can play right there. Finally, I will show you some approaches, what we are doing at BKK ProVita. I think it's not that famous, but we are a public health insurance with about 150,000 insured people. So, my name is Markus Mosig, I'm 28 years old, come from Augsburg. I did my A-levels there and worked in a bank for 2 years. And then I went to Mannheim. And I made my bachelor's and master's degrees there in business education. And during my master's, I had a seminar where it was our task to make a documentary about homeless people. So I met a lot of homeless people, had breakfast with them, talked to the persons who were working in the aid organizations, talking to a lot of politicians. And the interesting thing was that during our research we found out that 80% of homeless people do have smartphones. I think maybe a couple of you have ever thought about this, but it's not that famous. If we now consider how many useful and also useless apps exist, and if we consider that there are no apps for homeless people, this had been exactly our approach. So we developed an app where homeless people could find all their daily aids, where to get medical service, hygiene, night shelters, nutrition. And this is all what we combined there. The professor of the sustainability chair of the University of Mannheim liked the idea so much, asked me whether I want to work for her or not. And this is how I started my career in the sustainability workflow. Oh, sorry, I forgot to skip, sorry. So, I've been with BKK ProVita for more than 1 year now and see how important the connection between sustainability and health is. Health-relevant effects of climate change can already be observed today, such as increased exposure to UV radiation, increases in storms, heavy rain, heat waves, psychological consequences of climate change, or more intense courses of chronic diseases are occurring more frequently. Environmental stressors, such as air pollutions, ambient noise, harmful chemicals, have measurable negative effects on human health. Our main task as a public health insurance, apart from information and education, is to minimize health risks and to provide treatment if necessary. So we see these health risks and see our task as addressing this. In order to always be on the leading scientific edge, we're working together with different universities, for example, with the LMU in Munich or the Charité in Berlin, or Berlin. So we let scientists answer the question of necessity. This knowledge must be communicated to our health system, but also to society in order to promote a transformation to more responsibility towards the environment. Sustainability must play an essential role in the health system because it's a fundamental health risk. So let's now turn to the question of what role the health system in Germany plays in causing climate change. The healthcare industry in Germany generates a turnover of more than 1 billion euro each day. More than 10% of all employees in Germany work in the sector. All public health insurances in Germany had expenditures of around 216 billion euros in 2020. Round about 30 billion euros had been for medicines. In 2019, there were approximately 20 million hospitalizations. So a lot of figures. Why I'm telling this? Quite simple, because all of these are already connecting points on how to make the healthcare system sustainable. Please think about nutrition in hospitals. Why is there not much more plant-based nutrition there? Think about medicines. How much packaging waste is produced here for every single tablet or a pillow? Think about mobile care services. Why does a carer in a mobile care service spends as much time in the car as with the patient? And finally, I told you the number of 1 billion turnover each day with the financial volume. Currently, a public health insurance company is only allowed to freely choose 5% of its investments. The rest is regulated by law. Imagine if health insurance companies could make their investments sustainable. We don't have to think or have to talk about the effect. I've brought you a few more facts. According to the organization Healthcare Without Harm, the global health sector contributes more to climate change than global aviation and shipping. Healthcare services emit 6.8 megatons of CO2 per year. Globally, healthcare emissions are equivalent to 2 gigatons of CO2 and thus to the annual greenhouse gas emissions of 514 coal-fired power plants. These are all figures from the German Medical Journal. So it's really serious. I think that makes it very clear to you why we therefore need to have the debate on sustainability and health. The health system itself is responsible for massive emissions. That's why I would now like to present you the facets that we play with as a public health insurance and the goals that we are following. Basically, I can say the planetary health approach can be used as a basis for all our actions. Planetary health, a concept of the Rockefeller Foundation and the Lancet Commission, describes the connections between human and planetary health. Human health is inseparably linked to the health of the planet. I would like to show you where this becomes clear for us, where we talk about planetary health. Of course, health is our core topic, that's obvious. We try to act sustainably and consciously, and this is reflected in various thematic areas. We have, for us, defined 4 topics which we talk about, which we promote, which we educate about. These 4 topics are nutrition, activity, mindfulness, and responsibility. This means, for example, that through our prevention program, our company health management, or our bonus program, we try to provide knowledge and create appropriate incentives for behavior. I can go into this more detailed later on, but you will see it definitely. I think you all know these categories. It's always the definition of sustainability, and also in the worldwide health system we can talk about those 3 parts. First question is, what social influence can a health insurance have in order to integrate sustainability into people's everyday lives? Apart from the classic health services, we can regulate this through prevention, forms of care, or preventive measures. Currently, for example, about 7.5 euros per injured person and per year may be invested in the field of prevention. If we consider how high the insurance fees are, that's not much. Yeah, but in my eyes, this is where the basis is created. We have to do more to make children and young people aware of the connection between nutrition, health, and climate change. We want to be able to talk to companies about mobility concepts for their staff in order to reduce commuter emissions. We want to do more in the area of mindfulness to ensure mental health. All this is part of the topic of prevention and ensures a sustainable and conscious lifestyle. Therefore, our goal here is to increase prevention spending in order to have more social impact. Next one, the ecological facets of sustainability. Remember the figures I showed you earlier for what this is, the health system is responsible. Fortunately, there is now the package, it came out I think 3 weeks ago, there is now the package of measures from the old federal government that all administrative authorities must be climate neutral by 2030. But that should be the case for every health player, and it isn't so far. To demonstrate the ecological significance, a few questions we are working on right now. Why is there still meat from factory farming in German hospitals? Why does a mobile care service spend half of its working time in a car? Why are there still no sustainability criteria in pharmaceutical production? Why are there still no nationwide environmental health advice centers? These are all ecological elements that need to be addressed. Quite apart from the effect, and it's advertisement for ourselves, quite apart from the fact that for many years now, for 7 years, we had been the only health insurance in Germany that called itself climate neutral. We have the discussion about the certificates, you all know this maybe better than I do, but nobody in the health insurance system cares about this topic. And this is the significant part. Let's come to the economic part of sustainability. Legislation always prescribes the principle of economic efficiency and economy in general. But sustainability does not contradict to this principle in my mind. I had already addressed how little money may be invested sustainably. Maybe we can raise our hands. What is your mind? What do you think? Are sustainable financial investments really uneconomical? Who thinks so? Thank you very much. Can we tell this to the law here in Germany? This might be great. And with a daily turnover of 1 billion euros, we don't need to talk about the impact if we could invest more than 5% sustainably. Another factor in the field of economics is the cost of illness and the follow-up costs. According to the Federal Statistical Office, an average hospital stay costs about 5,000 euros. This immediately raises the question of what could be avoided. And if we now look back at our 4 topics, movement, nutrition, mindfulness and responsibility, then you will notice why I would like to raise up prevention costs. Of course, we cannot prevent all diseases, but if causes of illness such as stress, not enough activity, malnutrition or similar can be minimized, there will also be fewer healthcare costs. That's why prevention is such a big field. That was the perspective on the topic of sustainability for us as a healthcare player. And now I would like to talk about our daily work a little bit. Normally we deal with 3 different target groups. First, how can we communicate a sustainable understanding of health to our injured people? Second, how can we become sustainable as an organization? What incentives can we create towards the workforce? And third, how can we influence politics to change the framework conditions and make the health system sustainable. Here you can see only a small selection of the measures we're taking. What I'm now very proud of is that we as a public health insurance, as a public corporation, investments of 5,000 euros or more are subject to tendering. For 3 years now, we have anchored sustainability criteria in all our investments. No matter whether we're talking about green electricity, sustainable paper, for example, car fridge, computers, advertising material, this is really good, I think. We have integrated recognized standards everywhere, and we will definitely continue with this and still want to get better. Normally, I don't really like talking about prices, but I included this to demonstrate the urgency. We were nominated for the German Sustainability Award last year and this year. We didn't make it to the finals, but it made it clear to us again that the topic of sustainability and health has not arrived everywhere yet. Out of more than 1,000 applicants, only 1% were from the health sector. The final is no longer about this topic, so there's still a lot to do. Therefore, it's our task. We have to spread awareness of planetary health among the population, economy, and politics. We pass on our knowledge so that more actors can become aware of the issue of planetary health. For example, this year in March, we organized a conference for board members of all company health insurances in Germany. The aim was to get as many health insurances as possible interested in sustainability and planetary health topics like this. We wanted all of them to come to learn, but yeah, I think you can imagine only a few health insurances were interested in. A couple of them sent some guys to our conference. Yeah, and in the end, now we are about 5 health insurances who are working together. So the topic still is super low. For me personally, there should be no competition in sustainability, and that's why I'll definitely like such events. Maybe next year there will be some other healthcare player and we could talk up and learn from each other. Anyone who thinks of competition in the field of sustainability has not understood the basic issue in my eyes. Goals in the health system. I think this should have become clear. The health system must become sustainable on its own. There are so many points of contact, and to achieve that, we need to focus the public debate on planetary health. It's about the health system itself, which is responsible for enormous emissions worldwide. And it's about the health of many people on this planet. Yeah, this is my last slide. This is the aim, why I'm working and why I'm here today. Our goal, healthy people on a healthy planet. And then I say thank you for your attention.